Hey everybody, welcome to lesson 6 concept development video. Today we are going to be working on comparing decimals. So I'm using two different new programs today, I should say, to record with. I'm using Zoom, so now you should be able to see my face up in the top right hand corner, or left hand corner, I'm sorry. And I can also move us around, so that's bottom right hand corner now. So hopefully that will be nice to be able to interact with you a little bit more personably. Also, Bronson's in the house today. Bronson, come here. Come here. Good boy. Oh, there he is. Good boy. Look at the camera. Yeah. Say hi to everybody. Oh, good boy. Yeah. All right. And also, I'm using a new microphone. So hopefully the sound quality is a little bit better for us all. All right. So I'm going to minimize my face so you don't have to see me. And so I can flip my screen down and you're not looking at the ceiling. So today in lesson 6, we are going to be comparing numbers and we're going to be comparing decimals. So let's just start with some practice from last year where we're just comparing whole numbers. So let's write on our whiteboards or on our notepads 13,196. So 13,196. Great. Now let's compare that with 13,296. Now remember, when we're comparing numbers, the best thing to do is to line up place values. So this was 13,296. And then we can start comparing the number. Which place value do we start looking at? It's always the largest place value, and we work our way down to the smallest. So we can see that in the first place value, the tens of thousands place, we have ones in the holding the place value. So that is the same in each one. Let's keep working our way until we find something different. Thousands place is the exact same. Hundreds place. We see two different digits, so that means there's a difference in that number. It's 100 versus 200. So which one's bigger, 100 or 200s? Exactly, 200s is always bigger than 100. So we got to write this in a number sentence and use our comparing symbols. Oops, I got to take off the highlighter. So we have 13,196 is less than 13,296. Now remember, the opening of this symbol is always going to be facing the largest number. Great. So let's do that one more time with whole numbers real quick. Let's write 100,000s of numbers. So 300,200. Oh my gosh, said that wrong. Let's try that again, Mr. Briggs. 329,436. And we're going to compare that to 328,436. Now notice that I line those up just naturally by writing them in the same place values, hundreds of thousands over each other, tens of thousands over each other, thousands, hundreds, tens, ones. Remember that because that's going to be very important when we shift into decimal places. So let's just work from the largest place value. We see that both 100,000s hold a 3. The tens of thousand places has the digits of 2. And our thousands place has one number has 9 in the thousands place and the other has 8 in the thousands place. So we know that one of these numbers is bigger than the other. So which one is larger? 9,000s or 8,000s? Well, let me just get this smaller for myself so I can write a number sentence. Let's write these two numbers down. 329,436 and 328,436. And which symbol will go right here? again, we use the symbol that opens to the largest. So this will say 329,436,000. I messed that one up. Let's try that again. 329,436 is greater than 328,436. All right. So, well, let's try one of these starting now with decimals. So let's compare 12 thousandths versus 2 thousandths. Well, since we're still not super familiar with decimals yet, let's create a place value chart. Here's our decimal. So this will be tenths. This will be hundredths. And this will be thousandths. Okay. And then we're just going to do a dotted line here so that we can put our second number underneath to compare. This would be to the left of the decimal, ones and tenths. So our first number that I would like us to compare is 12 thousandths. Well, thousandths, we go to the thousandths place. We think about 12 in the thousandths place, but we know that we can, when we have 10 or more, we have to regroup and shift it over to the place value to the left. So, so we have 12 thousandths. And if there's nothing in the tenths place, we just represent that with a 0. So we would write this as 0.012. That is how we write 12 thousandths. And then we're going to compare that with 2 thousandths. Well, just 2 in the thousandths place. And then the other places have nothing in it, so we're going to represent those with zeros. So to write 2 thousandths, it's 0.002. And since it's already in our place value chart, we can compare these very easily. So we start at the largest place value. There's nothing in the ones, so we keep moving forward. Both have zeros in the tenths place. In the hundredths place, we see that the top number has a 1 and the bottom number has a 0. So 12 tenths is going to be greater than 2 tenths. I'm saying that wrong. 12 thousandths is going to be greater than 2 thousandths. I'm sorry, it's Sunday and I'm making a lot of mistakes this morning and I can't pause this Zoom program, so I just have to keep going with it. We all make mistakes, and we gotta just have to be, try to remember to correct them before we move on if we can notice them. And if I don't notice them, please remember to help me correct those in the comment section of our videos. All right, so let's try this again. Let's erase. Well, I'm erasing. You can just either go to a new page in your notebook or erase your whiteboards. So there's our decimals. So to the left of it is going to be ones and tens. To the right of it, we're going to have tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. And let's give ourselves 2 spaces so that we can compare 2 numbers. This time, I'd like us to compare 290, and I'm going to write it in fraction form over on the left, 299 thousandths. And I'd like it to compare it versus 3 tenths. Ooh, so now we're going to have thousandths compared to tenths. All right, well, let's give it a shot. Well, if we put 299 thousandths in here, we know that we have to regroup those and shift these over to the left. Well, if we shift 29 over, well, we know we then need to regroup again and put 2 here. So I'm just going to erase those so I can, but we can see that it's 299 thousandths. I'm going to clean that up right now. So let me undo all that. And highlighter, 299 thousandths. So to write 299 thousandths as a decimal, it's going to be 0.299. Now we're going to compare this to our 3 tenths. And 3 tenths, well, there's 3 in the tenths place. So we're going to go ahead and write 3 right here. So it would be 0.3. We have nothing in the hundredths, so we can represent those with zeros. And then we can compare them. Well, there's nothing in the ones place, so we keep moving. Well, one number has 2 in the tenths place and a 3 in the tenths place. So we know that 299 thousandths is less than 3/10. So I'm going to rewrite this as a sentence. So 0.299 or 299 thousandths is less than 0.3. And I really should be putting a 0 in front of those decimals. That way we should definitely know there's 0 whole numbers and 299 thousandths is less than 0 wholes and 3/10. So I'll get better at putting those. Hopefully you remember as well. All right, so one more example, and then we are going to move on to whole numbers with some parts, so mixed numbers. So let's just clean this up and quickly draw our place value charts, give ourselves a second space, 1/10 or tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and then we got ones and tenths. So one more example with just parts, and then we're going to do one more example with mixed numbers, and then we're going to go to problem set. So 2 more examples, and then we're going to problem set. I wish I could check the time on this video. That's something that I'm going to miss with from the other program. But anyways, let's get this going. We're going to represent 705 thousandths on the top part, and then we're going to represent 7/10 on the bottom. Okay, so let's think about that. Remember, when we put 705 in the thousandths place, we have more than 10, so we're going to have to be regrouping. So I'm just going to visualize that regrouping, knowing that we have to regroup to the left. So 705 thousandths looks like 0.705, and remember, let's put the 0 in the ones place, so it's 0.705. Great. Now the other number we want to represent is 7/10. So we put 7 in the tenths place. We have 0 ones, and everything else gets zeros as well. So hopefully you can already see the number that's larger just by seeing it in the place value chart, but let's start in the ones place. Zeros, tenths place have 7s, hundredths place both have 0s, all the way down to the thousandths place to find the number that is larger. So we see that 0.705 or 705 thousandths is greater than 7/10. So let me just make this smaller real quick. Oh, I can't see it. Just going to squish it like that for a second. And we know that, let's write this down as a fraction. 705 thousandths is greater than 7/10. Now let's also write it as a decimal, and we can just pull that out of our place value chart. So 0.705 is greater than 7. Whoops, I almost wrote that as a decimal, or a fraction, 0.7. So 705 thousandths is greater than 7/10. Perfect. All right, last example, and then we are going to move on to the problem set. So here we go. Let's get a place value chart going. This time, let's put our decimal here. We got tenths to the right of it, hundredths, thousandths, and to the left of the decimal, we have ones, tens, hundreds. And let's give ourselves a separation so we can compare 2 different numbers. And let's do 15 and 203 thousandths compared to 15 and 21 hundredths. Okay, well, we know that the top number has 15 whole numbers, so 1, 10, 5 ones, and 203 thousandths, so starting to understand how to represent the decimals now. Hopefully you are as well. So 15 and 203 thousandths. Great job. Let's represent the bottom number in our place value chart too. Well, it's 15 and 21 hundredths. So 15 and, well, it was 21 in the hundredths place. So remember, one time we have more than 10, we regroup. So that's 21 hundredths, which means there would be a 0 in the thousands place. So let's start comparing. Tens place has ones. Ones place has 5, so that's equal so far. Tenths place are 2s, equal so far. All right, now we have a difference, so we know one of the numbers is larger. So which one is it? Exactly, it's going to be the bottom number is larger because it has 1 hundredths, while the top number has 0 hundredths. Okay, so let me get this smaller for us. I'm squishing it the other way this time. And let's write that as two different sentences. Let's write it as a fraction. So 15 and 203 thousandths. We said that was less than 15 and 21 hundredths. Great. Let's also write it as a decimal. So 15 and 203 thousandths. Oops, that's a bad 0. 203 thousandths is less than 15 and 21 hundredths. Now, if you wanted to put the 0 right there, just like it is in our place value chart, you are not wrong. It can be represented either way. Perfect. Now, I think we're ready to go on to the problem set. I'm blindly hoping that this is close to 15 minutes. So next time I'm going to be setting up my timer when we do it. Hopefully the sound quality is better. Let me get back in the screen. I'll lift my screen up and say goodbye to you. There's my face. There we are. All right, now we're going to go to our problem set and do it together. Or if you're comfortable with the skills we practiced, try it on your own. But remember to go ahead and go back to the problem set video to check your work before you move on to the exit tickets, so you have a chance to correct any mistakes you may have made. All right, guys, good luck, and we'll see you at the problem set. All right, I gotta stop recording.